We've got this beautiful, well, we're very blessed to have this beautiful wilderness of the native forest around us, and generally I feel like about the use of exotic species that it's like they're so powerful at helping us create food systems and grow food that means that we can stop the encroachment on the actual native bush. And it's like native bush needs large areas to be really thriving and biodiverse and it's like, I don't know, you can kind of make these little pockets which are useful, but it's like if you're trying to provide food and grow food, some of the best things you can do is use these exotic species to help you grow enough food that you don't need to cut down the rainforest in the Amazon or clear more wetlands and that in New Zealand. We decided that there are lots of other nurseries that are providing temperate fruit trees like apples and oranges and all of those kind of common fruit trees, and there's lots of nurseries that are doing natives, and even though lots of those nurseries do sell out, so there is a greater demand, we decided we wanted to focus on subtropicals and lesser known plants and permaculture plants, because there's a huge demand for it, and we think it's really important to have that extra diversity in home gardens. So yeah, that's what we focused on.
Especially in the face of climate change, changing climate and temperature and things that might have been harder to grow before suddenly becoming more and more viable, and we're losing things on the other end of the scale, where temperate trees aren't that viable in the north anymore.
And the more diversity you have on a home scale or on a community scale, the more resilient and the more prepared you can be in the face of climate catastrophe.
Yeah, even things like Corona and that, and not being able to get shipments of food from overseas, and it's like more and more important. I think it was already very important anyway to have local food resilience and communities being able to grow their own food, but it's definitely like backyard, home scale, and community gardens and things like that is very much where our passion is and wanting to help with it.
We do as much as we can to live within our own means and to grow as much of our own food as possible, and we certainly encourage other people to do that, but in the face of global consumption, it's essentially meaningless to take yourself out of the system, but the system's still going to exist. So we think that community resilience and collective action is the way to go to make a change, and so we decided that the nursery was the best thing that we could do to do our part to support that.
Yeah, that's something that
something we're both passionate about.
Yeah, passionate about and good at. Arthur's good at. Great. Obviously, we were already doing this for ourselves, collecting all these seeds and growing all these different plants and stuff. And then it was like, well, we kind of need to have a nursery that's next level to meet our own needs. And then it's like, well, when you put this much work into it and creating this system to help produce more plants and fruit trees and things like that, it's like, well, maybe this is what we should be putting out as well. So.
Those are the parana nuts.
Oh, wow.
And they gorgeous little dinosaur trees.
Yeah, they do look like dinosaur trees, eh?
Yeah, so they're related to Cody trees and to the bunya, which is these ones over here.
Oh, wow.
The Australian version. They're delicious. They're kind of like a cross between a chestnut and a pine nut. That's kind of how I describe it. But they're really high in carbohydrates, and similar to a chestnut in their nutritional value. And yeah, I think this will be one of the major food crops of the future, because they're really highly productive. They can live for 400 years and provide food for all of that time, year after year. The other value of a lot of these subtropical trees is that they fruit in the off-season, so they fruit over winter when it's a huge gap for all the apples and plums and those kind of fruit. So in terms of having year-round food supply on a home scale, the subtropicals are really valuable for that.
Addictive once you start realizing and feeling empowered by the fact that you can grow plants and grow them and eco-source them from around you locally so they grow better.
Yeah.
And plants are so productive. You get one fruit and it's got 50 seeds in it from a guava, and then you plant them to see how many come up, and all 50 come up, and then you're like, what do I do with all of these now?
Yeah.
Whereas now we can feed that addiction and then sell them to people and
share the wealth.
Get a livelihood out of it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're amazing. It's thousands of years of evolution, because they're designed perfectly to grow and to work with humans and animals and grow themselves. It's they want to grow, and
yeah,
I think they want us to
share them, and they want us to like spread them around.
That's the agreement, isn't
That's
it? You eat
that's
the
what
fruit
it is.
and then
You
you
eat
get the
the
seeds
fruit,
and
you
plant
get
the
the
seeds.
food,
like-
yep, and then you help spread it, and yeah, a lot of, I think, having a nursery for us is that drive and that passion. It's like plants are speaking to us and saying, okay, help me.